Hola amigos, welcome back to my channel. So NaNoWriMo 2022 ended last Wednesday. Thursday was the 1st of December, obviously, and I had a really lovely family day. The first day of Advent, we were opening up our Christmas box and making mince pies and Christmas cake and all sorts of lovely things. But then on the Friday, what I decided I was going to do was read through the whole of the manuscript that I wrote for NaNoWriMo and see what I thought of it and whether I considered it a good first draft. So that is what I am going to talk to you about today. Hello, I hope you've got yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee or whatever you like, because this is going to be a lovely chatty video, little update. So the reason why I decided to go kind of straight back to my manuscript, which I wouldn't usually do after finishing a first draft. Usually I would leave it at least a month or two and then go back over it. But I was just insanely curious because I really wanted to know what sort of state this draft was in. Would it in any way be as higher quality as a first draft that I would normally produce? I ended up writing 55,500 and I think 14 words over the course of NaNoWriMo. I hit the 50,000 word mark on, I think it was around the 26th, something like that. But for me to win Nano, I wanted to get to the very end of my manuscript, to the end. Although actually, as I've written an epilogue, it's not actually the end, it's the end plus a little bit. But I wanted to write the complete story, which I managed to do. I finished on the 30th and I was absolutely thrilled, but I have never written anything like that amount of words in a month before. I don't normally count words when I'm writing that kind of carefully, but I imagine that the most I've ever written is about 20,000, something like that, words in a month, because I tend to edit an awful lot as I go through. Usually the way that I work is I will write usually about 1,000 words a day, and then the next day I will go back over that I've done the day before, and I will check over it, read through it, and then I will continue on, and I'm editing as I'm writing. I'm not just spewing out words. So I wanted to make sure that I tried to keep up that practice as much as I could, because as great as it would be to just, get a load of words out as quickly as possible, I was worried that that wasn't actually going to end up as a decent draft, and then I would have so much extra work to do on the manuscript before I was happy with it as a decent draft. So I was making sure that every single day when I started writing, I was reading over what I did the day before. The days that I felt my story was getting out of control were the days that I managed to do over 2,500 words a day. I think I only managed a few of those, and that was on purpose. When I first set out how I was going to do Nano, I actually decided that I was going to attempt to do 2,500 words every day. But I then found that that was moving the story forward too quickly. It was getting out of control. It would kind of veer off on tangents, and then I was having to stop, go back, and kind of bring it back to where I needed. So it was actually taking longer for me to write the book. So yeah, I was very hopeful that because I had done a fair amount of editing as I was going on, that it would be pretty good. So obviously Nano finished on Wednesday the 30th of November. The next day, on the Thursday, I took a family day off, and we were doing loads and loads of lovely Christmas things, making mince pies, getting the Christmas decorations out and all kinds of things. Oh, like my bunting behind me, I made that. And it was absolutely lovely. And then on the Friday, I got my manuscript up and I began reading through it. Yes, and definitely a little bit worried, but thankfully my editing had worked. It possibly wasn't quite up to the standard of a full first draft that I'd normally produce, but it was pretty close. So I've gone all through it. I did make corrections as I was going through it, mainly little things, and I've come up with 2 extra scenes that I want to fit in. Now, they are both not to do with the actual romantic arc, which is really, really strong. I'm really happy with that. But so basically the story is about a ballerina, and because she works so hard, she's very obsessed with her career in the ballet world, and she has neglected her relationships with her family members. And she feels that they don't support her and that they don't understand what her career means to her. So it was really, really important that before the end of the book, that she kind of properly sat down with these family members and that they resolved their differences, so that at the end they had a much stronger relationship. It was important for the story, but it was also important for the character herself, for her growth, and for her to understand that while she still absolutely adores ballet and doesn't want to give it up, there does need to be space in her life for other things. So yeah, a really important part of the story, even though it wasn't part of the actual romance. So it was important that I got that right. So I have made some notes on those scenes that I want to add in. And then the plan is, in a little while today, in about 45 minutes, I think, I'm going to be doing another one of my live streams with 20-minute writing sprints. So I think I'm going to try to write those scenes and slot them in where I know that they need to go. At that point then, I am going to put my manuscript firmly away. I'm not sure how long for. What I think I might do is not very much over December at all. I absolutely love December. I love Christmas so much, and it's really important that I get to spend enough time with my family and that we do all of the family traditions that we have built up over the last few years, well, quite a few years actually. My eldest is going to be 19 next week, so that's really, really important to me. I also want to catch up on a few things that would definitely let slide during NaNoWriMo month. I really need to get back on top of my house. It's a disaster zone in here. You wouldn't believe how long it took just to clear enough space so that it wasn't a complete tip behind me for filming this. And then in January, I think what I might do is pick up my other manuscript, His Girl Friday, which I was working on before starting Preptober, because that's been left for a nice long time, and that would be really nice because that's at about, I think it's about 34,000 words. That would be really lovely during January to finish the first draft of that one, and then maybe go back to my Nano project, which is has a working title of Center Stage. So I think maybe I'll go back to that one in February. Yeah, so that's the plan. So I would absolutely love to know, have any of you been brave enough to look over your Nano projects yet and see what you think? Or are you putting them firmly away for a little while and you're going to work completely on something else? It would be really, really great to find out. Thank you so much for joining me for this little update today. I have to say, I absolutely adored NaNoWriMo. It was such a fun experience and I will definitely be doing it again. If you would like to know more about my NaNoWriMo experience, I will link down below in the description my tag, which I've done is called the End of NaNoWriMo tag. And I did a live video where I did those tag questions, and basically I've tagged anybody who would like to do that tag because I think it's really, really fun to hear about other people's experiences. So make sure you check that out, and I will catch you in the next one.